Reigns is generally on good terms with most of his fellow superstars, but there are some wrestlers who have rubbed him the wrong way over the years. Brace yourself for the jaw-dropping truth as we reveal the surprising comrades and bitter enemies of the unstoppable Roman Reigns. Starting with number 10, loves AJ Styles. AJ Styles and Roman Reigns are from two completely different worlds. Styles is the proverbial workhorse who busted his ass for nearly 2 decades in smaller promotions before finally landing a shot in the WWE. Meanwhile, Reigns is a former football player who was hot-shotted into the WWE main event scene due to his family connections. Both took very different paths to the top of the WWE mountain, but despite their differences, Reigns has gone on record to say that if he could face one opponent for the rest of his life, it would be Styles. In a 2017 interview with Fightful, Reigns said, "I'll wrestle AJ for the rest of my life. If you didn't know AJ before his coming to the WWE, there's a reason why he's in the WWE. There's a reason why he's used the way that he's used, and it was an absolute pleasure to be in the ring with him." Number 9, hates Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle's only been on the main roster for a few years, but he's already managed to rub 3 major superstars the wrong way. Riddle seems to have a problem keeping his thoughts to himself, which is why he's gotten heat with Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns. 3 guys that are at the top of the list of people you probably shouldn't upset. His beef with Goldberg and Lesnar is well documented, but in 2021, Riddle said of Reigns, "If you were a good parent, your kids would be telling you you're a good parent. When he's saying, 'acknowledge me' or 'I move the needle,' no, you don't. You're related to The Rock. I'm not impressed. I can beat you up in a real fight, so shut your mouth." It's unclear whether Riddle was being genuine or whether it was a worked shoot, but reports stated that Reigns took legitimate offense to Riddle's comments. The two have only wrestled once in singles competition back in July 2022, and interestingly, it was the last match that Reigns actually won clean. Number 8, loves Seth Rollins. If there are 2 superstars that define the current era, it's Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. The 2 former Shield members came through the WWE system together and have played both best friends and bitter rivals on screen. And behind the scenes, Reigns and Rollins have been inseparable for almost a decade. In a 2021 interview with Bleacher Report, Reigns mentioned that the Shield Brotherhood is still strong despite Jon Moxley, the former Dean Ambrose, now being gone from the WWE. Reigns said he's not as close with Moxley as he used to be, but him, Rollins, and Moxley will always have a special bond. Reigns said, "Me and Mox were super tight. We traveled together even when we split up. We were drinking buddies. I got a lot of cool memories with Mox, but I actually talk to Seth a little more right now." Number 7, hates Cody Rhodes. Hate might be stretching it since Reigns and Cody put on a WrestleMania main event for the ages at Mania 39, but before Cody returned to WWE in 2022, he and Reigns had exchanged some interpromotional words of attrition. In 2017, when Cody was a top star in Ring of Honor and New Japan, he claimed during a promo, "I am the biggest damn draw in this entire industry, and if there's someone who's competing with me for that title, you know exactly who you are, and I know exactly what you should do. Kiss the ring." Fans linked the clip to Reigns on Twitter, and he replied with, "If that house didn't draw over 100,000, he's just talking silly." A lot has happened since the 2 stars did Verbal Debate 6 years ago, but as the 2 have gone on to have a major program together in WWE, it's possible they've both moved on. However, time will tell if the 2 are genuinely friends or are just being stern professionals for the cameras. Number 6, loves Chris Jericho. Jericho has had feuds with pretty much every major wrestler of the past 3 decades, but he's also formed long-lasting friendships with performers in every promotion. His relationship with Roman Reigns is no exception, and through interviews over the past few years, we've learned that the 2 men share a great mutual respect. In 2018, Jericho said of Reigns, "If you're a wrestling fan, Roman might be the best in the company. I'm telling you that because if people are interested in what you're doing, whether they're booing or whether they're cheering, they're still going to pay money to see you." The 2 might be in different companies right now, but since leaving WWE, Jericho has mentioned on his podcast that he and Reigns are still good friends to this day. Number 5, hates Randy Orton. It's a surprising statistic that Roman Reigns and Randy Orton have only ever gone one-on-one once on WWE television. While they're occasionally wrestling each other in tag team matches, their first and only singles match took place in 2014, which history will tell us was right around the beginning of the Super Reigns era. But there's a reason WWE have kept Reigns and Orton apart, and that's because the two share a mutual dislike of each other. During Reigns' mega push to the top of the card, Reigns and Orton were regularly facing off at house shows, but Reigns believed that Orton was trying to cool down his push by utilizing Orton's so-called crowd-killing style and purposely having boring matches. The accusations led to a backstage altercation between the two superstars, which apparently soured their relationship for the foreseeable future. It's unclear if Reigns and Orton have buried the hatchet since, but given that they've only interacted on screen once in 3 years, it seems like there's still no love lost between the two. Number 4, loves Paul Heyman. While Reigns and Paul Heyman's on-screen partnership only began in 2020, their connection actually goes back much further. Heyman has been helping Roman's family in the wrestling business for years, with Heyman extending the same generosity to the tribal chief. Now an inseparable pairing on television, their bond is as special off-screen as it is on. In a 2021 interview with CBS Sports, Reigns said, "If something happens and we're no longer on screen together, I don't think I'll ever want to work without him one way or another. Even if we're not pairing on television anymore, I still want him and need him at television to work with me." Number 3, hates Enzo Amore. Enzo Amore had a natural ability to win over the fans, but he always struggled to win over his fellow wrestlers. During his short time in the WWE, the realest guy in the room kicked up a ton of heat with other wrestlers, including locker room leader Roman Reigns. During a summer tour of Europe, Enzo was acting obnoxiously on the tour bus, inviting his friends backstage and constantly bragging about how much money he made. Reigns had a problem with his behavior, so he kicked Enzo off the bus and forced him to find his own travel to and from shows. Enzo claimed the incident didn't happen, but other superstars confirmed it. Later, Reigns said, "I put the sentence down, then I lay it down. If you have heat, that's what a locker room leader does. He speaks up for the rest of the bunch." Number 2, loves R-Truth. This one might come as a surprise because Reigns has rarely, if ever, interacted with R-Truth on screen. But even so, Reigns claims that his best friend in the business isn't Seth Rollins or Dean Ambrose, it's actually everyone's favorite rapper, R-Truth. In an interview with Sports Illustrated in 2019, the tribal chief said, "Ronnie is my best friend. He's right there with the Usos. He's like blood to me. We first started riding together 6 years ago. We've been tight for a long time, and he's one of the greatest of all time." It's an unlikely pairing for sure, but both Reigns and Truth are universally respected in the WWE locker room, so it makes sense that they'd get along. Number 1, hates CM Punk. A little piece of trivia. The CM in CM Punk actually stands for Chick Magnet, but a more accurate name would be Heat Magnet, because CM Punk might be the most universally hated man in wrestling right now. Punk has a history of burning bridges and rubbing people the wrong way, which is why he's despised by the likes of Triple H, Vince McMahon, Chris Jericho, and 90% of the AEW locker room. Reigns and Punk have no shortage of bad blood either. The two met briefly in the ring when they were both in WWE in 2013 and early 2014, but since Punk left, the two have taken a ton of shots at each other in interviews and on social media. In a 2022 interview with BT Sport, Reigns even said this in response to CM Punk's criticism of the WWE using part-time stars as main eventers. Those statements are coming from bitter people, who possibly thought that they were better than they really were. When it comes down to it, CM Punk was just not as good or as over as John Cena. He wasn't as good or as over or moved the needle like The Rock. It just was what it was. With Reigns being a WWE lifer and Punk blacklisted from WWE, it's doubtful we'll ever see the two face off in the flesh again, so it's highly likely that this rivalry is far from over. That concludes our list of 5 wrestlers Roman Reigns loves and 5 that he hates. Did we miss any? Let us know in the comments below.